What is up, NPL fans? Shadi here, coach of Bayern Munich, and welcome to my first NPL match of Season 6, and I am incredibly excited. I hope you are as well. And as you guys know from my announcement video, in Week 1, we go up against none other than Gypsy King, one of the, if not the best player. I think most people will say that he is the best, and I probably agree. Player out there at the moment in draft format, so that's a little scary. But first up, I encourage you, since most of you are here for PPL and whatnot and might not know the NPL, I highly encourage you to check out everyone in it. The Twitter to the NPL will be in the description down below, so you can follow them and the YouTube channel as well, so you can just check that out and make your life easier. Check out my opponent Gypsy King, as I said, arguably the best player out there at the moment. And huge shout out as well to the Flying Bird for the beautiful layout that you will see on screen. So that's all that. I hope I didn't forget anything. Basically, there will be a bunch of links that you should check out, and that will make you happy, probably. So, without further ado, let's just get into the matchup of my first game. And as you can see, this is my team over here. You've hopefully seen it in my announcement video. If you haven't, then you're an evil person, I guess. I don't know. Over here, we have Gypsy's team, the Sydney Sharpedoes, and this is a very terrifying squad. Mega God of War, Zapdos, Infernape as Z-move user, Dog Trio, Keldeo as Z-move user, Alolan Empoleon, Uxie, Shaman, Dragonite also Z-move user, and Golisopod. Nothing on this team isn't threatening, while I have a fucking Crabominable and a Turtonator just sitting there, so that's exciting. So, a couple things before the game. I don't have a Mega God of War switch in, not a good one at least. Zapdos is a problem because basically Torn-T destroys, or can destroy pretty much everything else if I bring an offensive variant. But Zapdos just hard walls it, and there's nothing Torn-T can do about not getting walled by Zapdos. That plus the fact that I need a bulky, like an Assault Vest variant. Okay. Laptop is doing things. Just because he does have Keldeo, and Keldeo just kind of duggies on my team, depending on the set that he brings. So that's a little bit of a problem. So yeah, I have to bring a bulky Torn-T for sure, and that's just going to be a free switch for Zapdos every time. However, he's hopefully not going to bring a static variant, as I think that he's probably going to have defog on that and have to be pressure because of that, obviously. So I can U-turn out on that freely and go into my threats, as I have things that can threaten it out very effectively. Mamoswine being the main one, Tyrantrum if I were to bring it, as well as a little Marowak. All Pokemon can threaten out Zapdos effectively and just be a problem to him, and just as a thing not be as much of a worry to my team. Now, other things to mention, Keldeo, as I said, destroys my team even with AV, Torn-T, like Specs 2 it kills me, Scarf 2 it kills me off the rocks, so like just bad news bears. D-Knight just kind of fucks me over. I need to prevent the thing from setting up. Definitely to break his multi-scale and keep Mamo somewhat healthy if he decides to bring that. Another thing, the biggest thing about this matchup is that Gypsy has something for literally everything on my entire draft. There's not one thing that can just kind of plow through his team without him being able to do much. And he has good answers, not just any answers, he has some of the best. For Manaphy, he has Shaman, which is arguably one of the better ones. He also has Zapdos, he has Mega God of War, which he can run bulky and kind of deal with it that way. Golisopod can take a hit, or can just go for a first impression, which is going to do a fucking crap load, so that's a problem. Torn-T hard walled by Zapdos, there's nothing it can do. Even like a Z Icy Wind does like less than half to a Spadef variant. I could run Z Smackdown, it still doesn't do anything, so it's just not worth it. Mamoswine is an interesting case because it does beat the majority of his team, but he does have Fizdef Uxie, which he can bring. However, he's going to take from a Mega Medicham. But he does have Golisopod as well. Golisopod just hard walled Mamoswine. However, I don't think he can afford to bring that, just because he needs other things on his team more. Like, I just don't think he can afford to bring Golisopod just for Mamoswine. I think he's going to rely on checking more offensively with things that can furn it, things like Keldeo, and to some extent even Mega God of War. So, and Pregi also, if he brings Empoleon, I'm 100% expecting a Sugar Berry variant. I don't think there's any way around it being Sugar Berry if he brings it. That's just my thought, because that's the Mamoswine bait in UU as well, so it all works in Gen 6 UU, that is. UU, that is. Little Marowak is another one which he doesn't have switch-ins to. Like, he just doesn't have a switch into Little Marowak. It doesn't exist. However, it's slow. It's very slow. Thankfully, he can trap me with Dougie because, I'm a ghost type and stuff. But his switch into ghost moves is a little muck, and I happen to be half a ground type, essentially. Regular Marowak is a ground type, so I get ground moves that can destroy it. So that's a cool thing. I don't even think Little Muck is like this Golisopod. It would kind of help, but I don't think it's coming, just like at all. I don't think he can afford to bring it. So, What else? Life Orb offensive tank growth, we don't even talk about that. Drapion gets trapped by Duck Trio, otherwise it will actually do a pretty okay job at helping me deal with Uxie mainly, Uxie being the, the counter to Mega Medicham in this matchup, and just in general. So yeah, I'm not bringing Drapion because Duck Trio is just annoying, and just he has a bunch of things that outspeed it and can beat it 1v1. Keldeo just does a million to it and can shoot any hit. Shaman has Earth Power if he brings that, and brings an offensive variant that outspeeds me. Mega Guard still does a ton to me even if I am Spadef, so like it's just not amazing. P2, I will get into that later on when I actually show you the team. Tyrantrum, I think actually had a pretty good matchup in terms of just killing shit. But he has things that outspeed. He has the option of bringing Scarf Infinite, which has a pretty decent matchup against me. He can also bring just Vacuum Wave / Mach Punch. Keldeo can take a hit. Empoleon, if it's Sugar Berry, which I'm expecting, can take an Earthquake. Obviously, I could also be a Thunder Fang variant, but that is rather unlikely, even though it does hit his 2 resistances. Head Smash is just too good to pass up on, really. Uxie can take a hit. It's like, it has a good matchup, but it's hard to set up against team. I'm also not fully, but like, I'm pretty much expecting Skull's Duck Trio if he decides to bring it, because it allows him to trap a Tyrantrum even after I set up. Allows him to trap any form of Drapion, and allows him to outspeed Flame Charge a little Marowak and just kill that, even if I get up 2 boosts, I think. I'm pretty sure you don't speed after 2 boosts, so that's the thing. And if he is somehow worried about Shell Smash Turtonator, then regular Dougie like doesn't outspeed it if I'm timid. Fun fact, I checked that. I looked at Turtonator. Don't. This is how bad this matchup is for me. I looked at Turtonator. It doesn't work. So yeah. Romnel is a piece of trash, and Mega Medicham, he has the best counter in Uxie, or one of the best probably being Cress, and potentially Necrozma. So, everything is sad. I don't have a good matchup. Let's get into team and see what I decided to bring to kind of overcome this matchup. If my laptop wants, okay, we're working offline, who cares? Everything is fine. Thanks, laptop, I hate you. Okay, so, first thing we're bringing, as you can see, is King Kunta, the little Marowak. Shout out to Kendrick, my dude. With the Thick Club, Lightning Rod, Shadow Bone, Fire Punch, Sub, and Sword Stance. Max attack Adamant, 120 HP, 132 speed, and 4 in special defense. That speed is enough to outspeed Empoleon by a little bit. Yeah, I probably won't risk it just because he could have a little bit more speed. Entirely possible. We'll have to look at calcs. If I hit it, and I'll have to look at calcs, see how much it actually does, and see if it actually is worth bringing that. I should also probably make these dimensions different for next time. I will see how it looks in the video. I have no idea because there's a layout. Layouts are confusing and whatever. It'll look fine. So yeah, that's the thing is basically that just to be the main breaker. And if I can set up a sub / a sword stance, probably more so a sub, then I pretty much get a kill. There is not much that stops this Marowak. I hope that he doesn't have knockoff on Uxie. If he doesn't, then this is a fairly decent switch into it. If he does have knockoff, that's a problem because for some reason Marowak needs to hold the fucking bone it already is holding in its sprite to be strong. I don't understand, but it's how it works. Welcome to Pokemon, nothing makes sense. So yeah, Shadow Bone kind of murks his team. Fire Punch is just there for, let's see, a little Marowak mainly, but also gives me something to Oko Shaman more reliably. And, Shaman was looking a little annoying, so I figured Fire Punch would be better. Earthquake would just be for Muck, while Fire Punch can hit the Shaman harder, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah, Fire Punch was just kind of a toss-up, but I figured Fire Punch would be nicer just to plop the Shaman if necessary. So, if I can set this up, because this thing scares out things like Mega God of War, it forces out Zapdos as well, most of the time at least. It probably forces out Infernape. There's entirely possible that he's definitely going to bring Earthquake. There's also entirely possible that he might have Z Earthquake. I forgot what that move is called. That's entirely possible. That would kind of suck, but there's a good chance that he's going to be scared out by Marowak regardless. Uxie's scared out as well. Shaman probably as well. So if I can set this up on any predicted switch, then that's juicy, and things are going to die essentially. I should mention that my plan for this week is kind of go insane while playing, like not make reasonable plays, kind of try to throw him off. Because if there's any way to beat someone who's incredibly good at game and has a ridiculously good matchup, it's probably going a little crazy and making some really stupid plays that might potentially throw them off. And also, it also involves bringing sets that might not be the best. However, I definitely do think that a little Marowak can put in the work if I play it correctly. And also entirely depending on his prep, you know, if he brings just a straight offensive team, then just doesn't do much. So yeah, also I have to stop against Team Mega God of War, yes, but it's resisted, and I can take it relatively well because I have HP investment. After all, it still 2 kills me, so that's unfortunate, but if I'm behind the sub, I can still take one and just knock him out with a Shadow Bone. So everything is fine. Next up, we're rocking Num, the Mega Medicham. Shout out to Dragon Ball. Medichamite, of course, pure power, high jump kick, fake out, bull punch, and ice punch. Adamant max attack, 200 speed, and 16 HP. I'm running Adamant because I'm not expecting max speed Zapdos or max speed Shaman. I think if either of those are coming, Zapdos is definitely coming, Shaman is very likely in my opinion, then they're going to be bulky, at least to some extent. So I don't think they're going to be max speed, so I'm going to just speed creep his next fastest Mon, I do believe. Yep, Dragonite. This is definitely speed creeping a Jolly Dragonite. So I can speed that. Actually, speed creep things that speed creep my base 80, which is Mamoswine. So I have 2 more speed than I actually need. So that's kind of neat. In case he wants to speed creep Mamoswine with anything, I would speed those including obviously Shaman and Zapdos if they have enough speed for Mamoswine, which I can entirely see him bringing Zapdos with just enough speed to outspeed Mamo, so he can U-turn outrun it potentially, or you know, hit me up with a move. Since he can take an ice shot if he has Scout my set, I think it makes sense for him to outspeed it. He probably won't make the play of staying in because that's just a little unnecessary, taking damage on that, which is his best answer to Torrent, but I definitely think that he's going to have that speed. So I can speed creep that and just plop him. I don't think that he's definitely going to have it, but I think it's fairly likely. So, yeah. Dual priority because it's just very nice in this matchup. I definitely kind of need it. Ice Punch is there because it Okos Dragonite that hits the Zapdos, which is one of his fighting resists. And that's pretty much it. There's not much to say, like, Mega Medicham just goes ham. Hopefully I can get rid of Uxie. If he doesn't have, like, a rest variant, or he passes wishes with Mega God of War, I should be fine, or have Seeing Wish on Shaman, which is entirely possible. Then the thing's gonna go wear it down and everything will be fine. Next up, we have Erigor, the Tornadus T. Shout out to Fairy Tail, Assault Vest, Regen, Hurricane U-turn, Iron Tail Superpower. Pretty standard stuff. This is, my switch into to Keldeo. It's a pivot for Mega God of War, if necessary. It's also checked to Mega God of War because Iron Tail, even if he is a bulky spread, does around half. I did a calc with a fairly bulky spread, so it does 2-hit KO pretty much any Mega God of War that isn't max, and if it's max, it doesn't do as much damage, and I should be kinda sorta okay. Superpower ability Empoleon if necessary, U-turn for momentum, and Hurricane just to spam moves. As you can see, this thing's entirely warped by Zapdos, but even if I were to run something that hits its super fight after, like as I mentioned, Icy Wind, it does nothing. It is not worth it. So I figured just U-turn out. I'm expecting a pressure variant because of Defog. If he does have static, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna have to take that L and be sad. Basically. So, yeah, Torrent is just very nice against the team. It checks Infernape, checks Keldeo, Infernape obviously being a massive threat to my team. I don't have a good answer to it. It can kind of check Dragonite, not effectively, but it can kind of sort of do that. It helps with Golisopod as well if he does to bring that for whatever reason. And yeah, it just, also Shaman obviously is hot-walled. So, this special attack investment is the standard one I think it runs, which is just enough to treat Keldeo. Yeah, it's just enough to 2 KO Keldeo, so it's nice. Next up, bring a team captain. It always has been, always will be. Tiny Blue to Manaphy, unless I draft, you know, Clefable or anything of the sort. This is going to be the team captain. With the leftovers, Hydration, Scald, U-turn, Energy Ball, and Ice Beam with a very physically defensive spread and 96 speed, which is enough to speed creep something that I forgot. Adamant Dragonite, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, should be Adamant Dragonite. So, this is just support Manaphy, because I think if Shaman is coming, U-turning out is the better play. I could bring like a Z Ice Beam, which just destroys pretty much any Shaman variant. Even like a max HP RT1 dies to +3 Sub-Zero Slammer, so that's pretty cool, but I also need defensive Manaphy because it's my only attempt at a switch into Infernape. Especially if you try to break the Mirror Rack, Earthquake does like nothing, so that's fine. I just went with 4 attacks, U-turn plus 3 offensive moves because it also helps me check Keldeo. Energy Ball does a fair chunk. Ice Beam helps me with Dragonite. So yeah, the thing just does its job essentially. It just kills, doesn't kill stuff. It it takes hits that I necessarily need. It gave me relatively slow momentum, and that's cool. Yeah, I expect God of War to have a little more speed than this. Probably not for Jolly Memo, I would expect. So I can U-turn, get a slow U-turn out, take a hyper voice, and then be happy. Not happy, but I can be okay. So that's that. Next up we have John Bape, the Mammoth One. Shout out to my friend John, Pokemon, with the Choppleberry, Thick Fat, Earthquake, Ice Shot, Icicle, Spear, and Stealth Rope. Max HP, max attack, adamant with 4 in special defense. Now, why am I running the world's bulkiest Mammoth Swine? Well, because I don't need much speed. The bulk on the thing allows me to take hits from Mega God of War, it allows me to chew hits from Zapdos, it allows me to check and Infernape very, very well, as I do have Choppleberry, and with Thick Fat, the fire moves are not as much of a problem. I don't think he's bringing Grass Knot, that just makes absolutely no sense against my team. My Grass weakness is Manaphy, which it has 20 base power against Manaphy, so it's just not happening. So, and this obviously, but close combat. So, yeah, it also allows me to check Dugtrio somewhat if I have to take a hit from it instead of, if he's Sash, yeah, I can take a hit and don't have to, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I can take a hit from Dugtrio more effectively if that is somewhat in some universe necessary, because Ice Shot is just going to obliterate it unless it's Sash, so that's cool. This also gives me a fairly good switch into a lower Muck. Now I don't think it's coming, but if it does, the thing can switch into it relatively effectively with the massive bolt that Mammoth One naturally has, max investment in HP, I can take those hits. I don't speed Uxie, which is interesting, but it also means that he gets a fast U-turn out instead of a slow one, which means he's gonna have to find a switch into Mammoth One if he does that, assuming that he is a U-turn variant, which I obviously don't know, but if he is, he gets a fast U-turn out and I get the initiative. I don't get the initiative, I just get a kill essentially, which is pretty nice. Because Mammoth One is a massive threat to his team, and it's a little too slow, but if he also goes for a fighting move with Keldeo, which is somewhat possible because I do have Manaphy, I could go for a fighting move against this, even though Scald is always the move to click because burns are very cool, and you know, welcome to Pokemon. But I can also take that. Mainly that for Infernape, get up rocks as well, check Mega God of War if absolutely necessary, and just be a monster essentially. I would love to bring like a Life Orb variant or like even Choice Band, but don't think I could afford it, and that's that. So last but not least, it's time for some heat, my boys. It's time for the spice, and that is Duct Tape the Porygon 2 with the Life Orb. Download as the ability, Tri-Attack, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Trick Room, max HP, max special attack, Quiet Nature, 0 speed IVs, 4 IVs, 4 EVs in special defense. Oh boy, you know the matchup is bad when you are bringing Life Orb, Trick Room P2, or any P2 that isn't, you know, a Violet. So why am I bringing this? Because if I get a download boost in special attack, and if I get a Trick Room, this thing murks his team. Nothing really takes it. I think a little Muck chews very easily. Uxie chews because it's an Uxie, but I expect to wear Uxie down or even have it killed at that point when P2 comes in. So a Tri-Attack can actually knock it out. Tri-Attack at +1 with the Life Orb does a ton to Mega God of War. Ice Beam Oko Zapdos, a Tri-Attack Oko's Infernape, Oko Dugtrio, Oko most Keldeo variants with Thunderbolt, a little Muck choose Empoleon, depending on spread. I'm expecting a more Fizz Dev variant, no, Mixed Dev probably. Yeah, Choppleberry variant. So, if I get some damage off an Empoleon, T-Bolt kills that. Shaman, depending on spread, dies to an Ice Beam, and D-Knight dies to an Ice Beam, and Gold Spot dies to a T-Bolt. So, if I can make this happen. Also, those calcs were off the top of my head. I don't actually remember them too well. I started building this team a while ago. If I can set up Trick Room late game at the right time, P2 can just straight up win me the game. And that's exciting. As I said, he has good answers to pretty much all of my win cons. P2 is not one of them. If I can wear his team down, just that little bit that I need, and get P2 at the right time without hopefully taking much damage from anything as I set up Trick Room, I have 5 turns, well, yeah, 4 or 5 turns to just get kills and hopefully clean up the game that way, or punch a hole that is irreparable for him so that Metachamp and or Tornadoes can pull through. Also, if I set up Trick Room and die, I have Mewnich and Mamoswine, which can take advantage of that. Mewnich still being slow even with the speed investment, and another thing that's good with Mamoswine being this slow is that I can take better advantage of Trick Room. I don't want to be a straight Trick Room variant, but having the ability to abuse that against, if he has fast things left, like God of War, Infernape, Zapdos, Keldeo, if he has those 4, for example, left, I get Trick Room, throw in Mamoswine, I can also win with that. So that's another cool option that I have. I'm not relying on setting up Trick Room for anything else. P2 is just there to clean up the game late game, hopefully. Yeah. As I said, really bad matchup for me. And like, if this was, just a random guy that I'm playing, not the greatest battler, then I would be like, okay, I can probably pull out a win here. No, I'm playing one of the best to ever touch this game, so that's just not fair. So I'm gonna pause and then we get right into the game. Thanks Contagion for being so professional. This is 21 minutes, holy fuck. Okay, I'm gonna pause and get right into this goddamn game. Okay, so here we are at the game, and as you can see, Gypsy decided to bring Zapdos, Empoleon, Infernape, Uxie, Mega God of War, and Keldeo. So, no Shaman, which I'm a little surprised by, but it does make sense, as he can, roll Manaphy out with Empoleon. He can deal with it with a bulky God of War. Keldeo, depending on its set, can kind of help it like a Taunt Secret Sword variant, or like a Calm Mind variant as well. Or just like Spec Secret Sword. Depending on what set he expects, he's probably expecting a Tegel variant. He can deal with that with a Specs Keldeo somewhat effectively, and wear that down for other things on his team. So that's not too surprising. No Glisapult, which is good because I didn't think he would bring it, and that's that. No Dragonite, which is a huge relief, and no Doctrio, so I don't have to worry about any annoying trapping shenanigans. And the other thing, a little Muck. There's no little Muck, which I didn't expect, but that's another thing that was in the way of P2 sweeping the game. I never thought I would say these words. So yeah, D-Knight not being there is probably the main relief, because like Shaman is just a free switch to Torn-T, which is a threat to his team. So that's probably another reason why he didn't bring it, because like if Zapdos goes down and he still has Shaman left, that's just a free switch to Torn-T every time. So I'm just gonna start off, and I'm gonna decide to leave with my Mamoswine, expecting him to break my Torn-T lead, but he does leave with Keldeo. That is unfortunate. I'm not gonna say it's not risky. I know I want to play a little bit crazy here, but that's not worth it. And he revealed sub as he go into Torn-T. That is a little bad, because if he sub Calm Mind, that could be a problem for late game. But I'm just going to fire over Hurricane, break that sub. Thankfully I hit, and he reveals to be Toxic. So he is that set. Sub Protect Toxic Keldeo. I've brought it myself. He has faced, I think, he's brought it before as well himself. Very annoying set. Very good set. And yeah. So when U-turn here, as he protects, get some more toxic damage off on me, and I'm gonna fire off another U-turn this turn because he's not singing. I think expecting me to Hurricane is entirely possible play, so I'm gonna U-turn out, get some nice chip damage off on God of War, and learn that this is a bulky one. So, but this allows me to just drop in Marowak, and something is about to take a bone, something's getting boned, and that is Empoleon, and get a crit 88%. So, that's super unfortunate for Dipsy. But that would have been a 2 KO, but that, the thing is super low now. It can't switch into Hurricane, it can't do anything anymore. If it is Sugar Berry, there's no way it's baiting Mamoswine. Not that it was any way in the first place, but So, right now, I don't want to stay in, because while I do have speed to outspeed Empoleon, from this damage, he's not fully physically defensive. He has Fizz Def investment, but he's not Fizz Def. So there's a good chance, he's definitely not fully Fizz Def. I can 100% confirm with this calc. Unless I am stupid, which is entirely possible as well. But that means that there's a good chance he has speed investment, and since he's in Torrent, he's guaranteed to kill me. So I don't want to fuck with any of that, even though he's fairly likely to just get up his rocks here. This is his best rock in this matchup, I would think. So I drop in Manaphy as he does get up a stealth rock. Unfortunate. I'm just going to fire off the safe energy ball in case he wants to stay in. Alright, I definitely didn't get interrupted there. So I'm just going to fire off the 7 energy balls. He goes into God of War. In case he wanted to attack Empoleon, that wasn't entirely possible. Yeah, so I'm just going to stay in with Manaphy, Tated, Hyper Voice to the face. That does way too much. And I'm going to fire off the U-turn here, get some damage off, and I'm going to drop in the Mamoswine. I could go into Mancham and just Bull Punch, but I decided Mamoswine is the play at this point, as it pressures his team. And I'm going to not go for Rocks here, not go for Icicle Spear. I'm going to fire off the Earthquake, as you can see, because I cannot allow Keldeo a free switch in. I don't know his set yet. I don't know if he's a bulky variant. He could entirely be like a very, very bulky Keldeo. And if he is, then he can take Earthquakes if that, if he wants to. It is an unlikely play. Yes, I don't expect him to make it, but I can't risk it. that's basically that. Also, if he thinks that I'm Scarf somehow, then which is entirely possible at this point because I haven't revealed anything outside of Earthquake now. He's not necessarily gonna go into. He's definitely gonna go to Keldeo if I fire off an Ice move, and if I don't do that, if we go for Earthquake, he's slightly less likely. He probably still will. So he brings in Empoleon. I get the KO. So there's still not a 6 over my league record history. So that's cool. But now he brings in Keldeo. By the way, shout out to that name. You can Google it yourself. I'm gonna stay in here because if you were to sub, I can break that. And as I said, I kind of need to go a little ham, and I didn't. Basically, I also didn't have a good switch in. Torntee's toxic, Manaphy's worn down. Yeah. I just kind of had to. And in case he wasn't fully invested, I could have actually taken a Surf potentially, so that's another thing to mention. I could have definitely gotten off an Earthquake here potentially, and that would be nice. If you were to sub, getting chip damage off on the thing is also really, really nice. So, most one's going down, that's unfortunate, 5-5, but now I can bring in my Mega Medicham. I bring in Torntea, okay, that's later. I bring in Torntea and just fire over Hurricane, as he's obviously going to go for Protect. He has no reason not to. There's no way I'm like a sub-Tornadus T, and especially if I'm Toxic, I'm not making that play. So, this time I'm just going to fire over another one in case, he wants to overpredict, even though he won't. Fire over the Hurricane, Scout the Zapdos set, get a crit, anti-confusion, which is nice. So if he hits himself, that's lucky. If he, don't expect it, I'm not hoping for it, but also since I'm Toxic, I can actually U-turn out for free. I don't have to worry about Static, which is pretty nice. He actually does reveal to be Static, so I can go to King Kunta here as he goes for a Toxic. Very unfortunate for me, but these things happen. But now I'm gonna make a little bit of a misplay, I think, in hindsight, definitely. Because there's no way he's sacking his Zapdos. There's no way he's staying into Roost Stormy, which I do around half. I do 60% max if he's Fizz Death, slightly less. So there's a chance he might stay in Roost once, but it's just not a good play. So I make a terrible play in hindsight and of SDing. He needs Zapdos for Torntea. There's no way around it. So definitely should just go for the Shadow Bone again. But I make the misplay of Sword Setting up as he goes into Keldeo. So bad plays, everyone. So this Keldeo is going to stay healthy, but I'm going to stay in here and just fire off a Shadow Bone. I'm not letting him sub for free. That is not happening. Not on my agenda. So he goes for sub. I go for Shadow Bone. Break that sub. And now King Kunta is going to go down to the Surf, which makes more sense if he's a sub-toxic variant. So that goes down, and now I'm going to go into my Mega Man Jam and just fire off a high jump kick. I don't care that there's no Uxie. I need to weaken that thing, because at this point, as I planned from the start, P2 is the win con. Zapdos is slightly weakened, Infernape is not going to take it, the thing is slightly weakened, Mega Gardevoir is weakened, and if I weaken Uxie as well, P2 can actually win. So I'm going to go into Mega Matchup here and just fire off a high jump kick on this Uxie. And what I'm going to do is just stay in and spam moves, essentially. As I get I should go for Fake Out, because that wasn't the best play in hindsight, but it doesn't matter too much. Basically, there was a chance of him going for a Protect there. Unlikely, but entirely possible. I didn't want to risk that, so I just went for the safe Fake Out. I still get damage off an Uxie, and everything, because it's a Fake Out from Mega Man Champ. It's gonna do damage. So get a crit again because I'm lucky, and gonna fire off a high jump kick to 36%, which is pretty nice damage. And he goes for the Psychic. So at this point, I'm gonna decide to go for the Ice Punch in case he wants to go Zapdos. High jump kick or Ice Punch both have no chance of killing. So yeah, and he goes for rest. So another thing is, if he didn't, basically, if he were to kill me on this turn, as I go for Ice Punch, and I don't, I intentionally don't kill him, I can then go to P2, get the special attack drop because he is physically defensive, or at least more physically defensive. I get the special attack boost that I want, and I can then trick him up on the thing. Even if he knocks me off, unfortunate, but I can kind of deal with it, and I can get a kill essentially on something. So that's another reason why I didn't really want to kill him. So yeah, is that. So he does really the rest down. That's just really unfortunate. I'm gonna fire another high jump kick, weaken the thing a little bit down, and die to the Rocky Helmet, as he reveals to be a Rest Talk Uxie, and he is gonna pull the Psychic, I do believe. Yes, he does. So this is at this point, I have no other way of winning other than going to P2 and taking this special attack boost as I do. So I'm gonna go for the Trick Room as he pulls the Psychic from the Sleep Talk. That's 24%, even with the Violet. P2 doesn't care about anything. I go for Trick Room, and I'm kind of inside. At this point, there's no point in calculating whether Uxie lives, so I'm just gonna fire off the Tri-Tech, and it lives on 7%, so that's just unfortunate, you know. That's just really unfortunate. He's gonna go for another rest, and just that's his best way of seeing out the Trick Room. And I'm going for another Tri-Tech, so yeah, I still couldn't have killed him if I got a high roll last time. So I'm just going to fire off another Tri-Tech as he gets the Calm Mind, which is really unfortunate for me. Yeah, I didn't get lucky with sleep rolls, which I kind of had to do in order to get like 2 more kills here. But he does get another Calm Mind here, thankfully not the Psychic, so I can fire off another Tri-Tech and knock him out. Life for P2 gets a kill, but that's pretty much going to be the game at this point. Zapdos can just clean up, and that's it. So he brings in Zapdos, fires the Thunderbolt. P2 goes down, but we did it. We did a thing, you know. And at this point, game's over. As I say in chat, GG man. So yeah, GG Gypsy, phenomenal. Like he brought a really good team. I did the best I could. You know, I did the best with what I was given. But he can't win every match, especially not a matchup like this. I don't think I stood a chance. You know, maybe if I stay next season, which I hopefully will, I can get my own team and then actually beat Gypsy. That's on the agenda. If I am there next season, I'm gonna make it my mission to win and make up for this game. So yeah, as this game runs out. Once again, GG Gypsy, make sure to check out his channel in the description down below. Fantastic player. If you want to learn something about draft format, definitely check him out. He's actually sub-toxic Zapdos as well. Like, why do you do this to me? It's just really gross. Why do you hate me? Yeah, definitely make sure to check him out. Fantastic player. You can learn a lot from him. Even I can still learn from him, even though I've been playing like draft format for fucking ages. So yeah, as Manaphy, our captain, is going to be the last one to be on the field, and he's going to be the last man standing and just drop to the Thunderbolt. GG Gypsy once again. Fantastic game. As I said, make sure to check out Gypsy, make sure to check out the NPL and Bird and every other graphic person involved. There will be power rankings on the NPL chat, so you can see how badly I am doing in those. Yeah, I want to see the analysts talk about Life for P2. That's going to make me happy. So I'm gonna shut up now. This video is already way too long. Next week we go up against Sepp, top tier boy, and his Florida Feraligators. Not a very strong player, a very strong draft. Some people have called the best. He's doing really well. And strong team, strong player. So not a challenge, but that's the NPL. You know, that's the NPL for it. That's how it works here. Everything is a challenge, and that just makes it more fun, doesn't it? So. Once again, thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, leave some nudes. I will appreciate all 3 dozen, hopefully. See you guys next time. Goodbye.